An International Monetary Fund report released on Tuesday says the Palestinian Authority's financial institutions are ready for statehood now that it has carried out a series of economic reforms. The report credited reforms and a prudent fiscal policy with enabling the Palestine Monetary Authority to fulfill core functions of a central bank. A strong banking system is vital for a future Palestinian state to sustain itself, it said. It found that Palestinians are now able to conduct the sound economic policies expected of a future well-functioning Palestinian state. The report comes at a significant time, with Palestinians having launched a diplomatic campaign working towards gaining recognition of an independent Palestinian state. This is bad news for Israel. One of their long-standing agreements against rushing into a Palestinian state has been that their institutions were not financially sound enough to support a state. The internationally respected IMF has now put that argument to rest. The U.S. State Department on Tuesday expressed deep concern over the Israeli government's approval of plans to build 942 new apartment units in the Jerusalem neighborhood of Golan. We're deeply concerned about the announcement of the approval of for these units, said State Department spokesman Mark Toner. We believe that through good faith direct negotiations, the parties should mutually agree on an outcome that realizes the aspirations of both parties. In other news, the stalemate plaguing the Israeli-Palestinian peace process has prompted several former senior defense establishment figures, including ex-Mossad and Shin Bet chiefs, to establish their own version of a new peace initiative. The manifest was influenced, according to its captains, by the unrest sweeping across the Middle East, and is meant to prompt the government into reigniting the peace talks. Details of the initiative were reported Tuesday by the New York Times. The authors claim that the two-page document was formulated in response to the 2002 Arab Peace Initiative. The document calls for the 1967 lines to be a basis for a two-state solution, which would see the future Palestinian state stretch across most of the West Bank, with East Jerusalem as its capital. The documents also advocated Israeli withdrawal from the Golan Hghts and the formation of regional security mechanisms and economic cooperation. Some 40 people have signed the initiative, including former Shin Bet chiefs Yaakov Perry and Ami Ayalam, and former Mossad chief Danny Yatam. All 40 are affiliated with the political left. The two-state solution outlined in the plan is reminiscent of the 2000 Clinton outline, recognizing the Palestinian state as a nation-state based on the 1967 borders. The plan also includes a land exchange which will not exceed 7% of the West Bank. The outline further states that East Jerusalem would be the new state's capital, with the city's Jewish neighborhoods remaining under Israeli sovereignty and its Arab neighborhoods under Palestine sovereignty. Temple Mount, which Muslims hold sacred, would not be governed by either side, but the Western Wall and Jewish quarter of the Old City would remain under Israeli sovereignty. As for the issue of Palestinian refugees, the plan proposes financial compensation and return to Palestine, not Israel, with mutually agreed upon symbolic exceptions, allowing some of them back into Israel. On the Syrian front, the document calls for Israeli withdrawal from the Golan Heights, with minor agreed modifications and land swaps to be taken in stages across a 5-year period. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has received a copy and says he is eager to look at it. The U.S. has also reviewed the proposal and has favorably received it. In another time, Netanyahu would not even have considered a plan that gives away so much. Unfortunately, he's running out of time, and the rest of the world sees this plan as a win-win situation for all included. It will be difficult for Netanyahu to reject a peace initiative that has been created by 40 of Israel's elite political, security, and defense experts. I have to believe the international community, along with the U.S., will be applying a tremendous amount of pressure on Netanyahu to adopt this peace initiative over the coming months, leading up to the September 2011 deadline. However, if Israel continues to go ahead with settlement construction, the UN will recognize a Palestinian state within 1967 borders. If this is the case, it is my belief they will reject the UN's mandate and bring further isolation and sanctions upon themselves. But more importantly, they would be justifying an Islamic attack in the eyes of the global community. I would be hard-pressed to believe the US or the EU would interfere with such an attack to liberate UN-mandated Palestinian land from their Israeli occupiers. Could this be how the Psalm 83 war begins? This is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.